Thanks for clicking this video. Here is Chapter 1b of the Naruto fanfiction story, Dimensional Roads by FM Fan 1980. Apologies for uploading in 2 parts, I will have to upload this way temporarily. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And here we begin. That was the past. Now, in the present day, Naruto continued to kick an unconscious Sakura, her blood smearing the floor. He was grunting as his kicks continued. In the meantime, Sakura was bruised and bloodied. And Naruto wasn't going to stop. Naruto. Suddenly Naruto found himself being slammed against the wall. He glared at a disbelieving older blonde who rushed to the bloodied and bruised mess that was Sakura. His eyes then turned to his stunned former sensei. And standing next to him was a man he didn't recognize, a man with eyes that should really belong to an owl. Naruto's eyes moved towards what looked to be wooden pillars extending out from the stranger's right hand. The pillars snaked around his arms and legs before digging into the wall behind him. Naruto. Kakashi, Naruto sneered at the masked man who dared speak his name after so many years. How is she, Hokage-sama? The man Naruto didn't recognize then spoke. Yes, how is she Ba-chan? Naruto growled as the blonde Hokage turned Sakura slowly onto her back. He saw that the pink-haired girl's face and head was covered in blood while her eyes were swollen closed. Her dress was torn and stained wet with blood from the violent kicks he had doled out, and the purple and black skin beneath was clearly visible. Kakashi, we need to get her to the operating room. Her pulse is weak, her skull is fractured. She could have a concussion, numerous lacerations, broken nose, split lip, broken ribs. I think her lung has been punctured and damn, there's massive internal bleeding. Tsunade turned her head to glare at the sneering Naruto before she slammed her hand onto the floor of the room. Summoning jutsu, Tsunade cried out. A slug, the size of the couch where Sakura had been sitting, appeared with a poof. Katsuyu, Tsunade yelled while pointing at Sakura. Tsunade moved aside as the slug slid towards the badly injured girl and then slowly absorbed her into its body. It was then that Tsunade said, take her to healing room 2A, she'll have to be inside you until she's stable enough to operate on. Tsunade then glared at Naruto while saying, I have some business to finish before I come up. Now go. Yes, Tsunade-sama, Katsuyu said before vanishing with a poof. And smoke. After the slug was gone, Naruto stared at Tsunade who turned towards him with her arms by her side. There was no expression on her face, which meant she was pissed. Good, Naruto thought before saying, I told you, Ba-chan, if you send any of your shinobi after me, I would not. Slap. Naruto felt the sting on his cheek. The entire left side of his head ached after that slap from Tsunade. What the hell did you think you were doing? She hissed out before giving him another slap. After the second one, all Naruto could do was laugh before saying, we had an agreement, Tsunade. You would leave me alone. And if you, and only you, needed me, then you could contact me through Jiraiya. At the mention of Jiraiya's name, Naruto felt a chill in the air. He saw Tsunade tremble while the other two behind her looked at each other in surprise before turning their attention back at him. Excuse me, Tsunade growled. I set the seals around the island to only let him in, and keep you and your shinobi out, Naruto growled, so if I'm here. Then that means you and this cesspit of a village did something to the pervert. If you hurt him. Naruto, Tsunade exclaimed. Naruto yelled out, if your shinobi hurt him or my wife, then. You're what? Kakashi was the one to speak while Tsunade stared at him with eyes wide open in shock. Naruto, the man he didn't know, the one whose eyes he thought looked as if they belonged to an owl, said, what wife? And Jiraiya-sama is dead, you know that, Kakashi said. This time it was Naruto's turn to be surprised, although he didn't show it. His eyes went towards Tsunade, and he could see sadness etched into her face as Kakashi continued to say, how could you say something like that? Especially when you know how Tsunade-sama. Kakashi, Tsunade shook her head while her eyes remained on Naruto. Lies, Naruto hissed out as he turned his head towards Tsunade. That sadness in her eyes must be a lie, she must have done something to him. She was forced to do something. Or maybe that bastard Danzo did something to the pervert. Naruto then sneered, all lies, you and your goons did something. Somehow you used Jiraiya to get into Uzu, then capture me and her. Where is she? Who? Kakashi asked before shaking his head. Naruto, we came in and saw you viciously attacking Sakura. We want to know why. Naruto shook his head in disbelief. Why were they lying? He growled out, all of you were stupid enough to put her in the same room as me after everything she and her gang of Uchiha elite worshipping bitches did to me. Naruto then exploded in rage. You all did that to her. He then took a moment to calm himself before smiling, thank you for the opportunity though, it felt good giving back what she, Ino, and the others gave to me. What are you talking about, Naruto? Kakashi asked. He needed an explanation as Tsunade looked away, a look of confusion was on her face. Kakashi continued, what did Sakura and Ino do to you? And Uchiha elite worshipping bitches? The owl-eyed man said with a look of confusion. Naruto glanced at their confused expressions before struggling against the wood holding him against the wall while saying, you and Tsunade know what they did, Hatake. You know how they beat me when I brought back the Uchiha traitor. You know. What? Tsunade whispered. Naruto's eyes went back to her. There was a look of utter confusion on her face. It was the same look on all of their faces. What is this? A joke? None of you remember? Naruto hissed out while wondering why it was. They were so confused. The whole village knew the Uchiha was injured. And they blamed the demon brat for it. No, Naruto wasn't going to fall for it. He was going to get his wife and child out of the village and then return home. I'll have to strengthen the seals first, before coming back in secret to find Jiraiya. The old hag won't do anything to her former teammate. Suddenly, Naruto felt as if there was someone watching him while his eyes were on Tsunade. His gaze then shifted towards Kakashi who had his Sharingan out and a look of worry on his face as he took a step forward. Something's wrong, Kakashi said. That voice grated Naruto. His so-called sensei was the one who refused to teach him. The one who left him out with the wolves when it was time to prepare for the third phase of the Chunin exam. It was after Naruto was spirited away from Konoha that he came to accept Kakashi and the others had stunted his development. They were all focused on the Uchiha and his betterment. But it was what Kakashi said next that had Naruto narrow his eyelids and press his lips together into a scowl, he's not Naruto. What kind of shit is that, Hatake? What do you mean, senpai? The owl-eyed man asked. The Sharingan can see chakra patterns, Kakashi clarified, and Kakashi motioned towards Naruto, his chakra patterns do not correspond to the Naruto we know. There's something off about it. Like how he mentioned Jiraiya-sama. Tsunade locked eyes with Naruto. Naruto, you said some strange things that I thought could have been as a result of the incident at the Samurai Bridge. An after effect of the poison, but the poison passed through your system so. What incident at the Samurai Bridge? Naruto asked while his heart raced. After all, he had never been to the Samurai Bridge. And what poison were they talking about? What are you talking about? He watched as Tsunade, Kakashi, and the owl-eyed man looked at each other with strange expressions before returning their attention towards him once again. You said you don't know me, the owl-eyed man asked, are you sure? Of course, I don't know you. Naruto exclaimed, what the hell kind of interrogation is this? Naruto then took in a deep breath before opening his eyes at Tsunade. I'm not sorry about what I did to Sakura, she deserved it and you know it. I want to just take my wife and child home and. You said, wife, again and you referred to a child, Kakashi said, Naruto, you aren't married. At least, Kakashi closed his eyes and rubbed the bridge of his nose. Tsunade asked the Jonin to continue what he was about to say. And so, he did, at least the Naruto we know isn't married. The Naruto you know? Naruto asked with utter confusion. Do you remember what Pain did to the village? Whose Pain? Naruto asked with a look of even more confusion. Do you remember what happened after you gained 4 tails at the Heaven-Earth Bridge? The owl-eyed man asked. What? Naruto was getting more and more confused. What kind of interrogation was this? He expected them to bring him to torture and interrogation where he would be put under the care of Anko. Or at the very least, the shinobi and civilian councils would demand the Kyuubi be extracted from him. What did Sakura tell you in the Land of Iron? Kakashi asked, you must remember that. I despise her, Naruto hissed, why would I ever speak to her? You said you brought the Uchiha back to the village, Tsunade said, changing the subject with a look of worry. However, as much as Sakura and her fellow fangirls made Naruto angry, the Uchiha name made him enraged. You mean the elite Uchiha who the council? What council? The owl-eyed man asked. What council? Tsunade asked shaking her head. Are you senile? Naruto growled at Tsunade, the civilian and shinobi council. There is no shinobi and civilian council, Tsunade shook her head, Naruto. Oh, Come on, Naruto exclaimed, they are the ones who tied your hands together, the ones who command you, despite you being the leader of the village. They are the ones who worship the so-called elite Uchiha and… I hear you say elite Uchiha one more time, and I'll make sure you will never speak, Tsunade growled. Listen, idiot, I have the final say in this village. There is no shinobi or civilian council. And you didn't bring Sasuke back. What? Naruto whispered. Now he was really confused. In fact, you were hurt so badly that it was a miracle you survived at all. Tsunade exclaimed. Ask Kakashi, he brought you back. What? Naruto whispered as his eyes went up towards Kakashi. What? No, I brought that traitor back and… You didn't, Kakashi said. Naruto, your memories are not. Tsunade then froze before turning towards Kakashi. I just received a message from Katsuyu. Sakura's stable, I'm heading out to the healing room. She then turned to Naruto with a glare. You better fucking hope Sakura comes out of this. Naruto did not know what to say. Everything he claimed he knew as the truth had been denied by the three people in front of him. Naruto, Kakashi said as he stepped forward again, you told me that you met your father when… What? Naruto whispered, his eyes wide open. Do you know who your father is? Tsunade asked as she gently grabbed his chin and turned his head so that they were locked eye to eye. Tell me the truth, do you know who your father is? His father. Oh, how he longed to know the identity of his father. All Naruto knew was that his parents were shinobi who died in the Kyuubi attack. Jiraiya said that he would tell him once he was old enough, and once he had learned to handle his anger towards the village. Naruto shook his head to the surprise of the three shinobi in the room before saying, no. Kakashi, I'm going to order a blood test, Tsunade said as she let go of Naruto's chin, the two of you stay here. Watch over him until I get back. And Sakura, the owl-eyed man asked. Naruto frowned. What happened stays as class secret until we know exactly what's going on here, Tsunade said as she stared at Naruto. Naruto saw Tsunade frown before the latter said, you said you're married. Naruto, you're not. I am married, Naruto said. What was happening here? She's having my kid and I just want to take them home. Look, I'll get back with hopefully good news, Tsunade said after turning from Naruto and stared at Kakashi. She then turned towards Naruto again, we'll get to the bottom of what's happening here. It's not an illusion jutsu, Kakashi said before Naruto looked at him, you're my student, so I know you're thinking all of this could be an illusion. As Tsunade left, Kakashi took her place and put his hands into his pockets and asked, you know the Rasengan? Yes, what does that? Do you remember completing the jutsu, something the fourth was unable to do? No, Jiraiya and I didn't, Naruto was stunned. No, he hadn't completed the jutsu. He was not even close, so how could these people in front of him say that he did? I know I haven't, Jiraiya said that I still have some ways to go. But he wouldn't give me any clues, just told me I'd figure it out on my own. Naruto, tell me everything you remember from when you think you brought back Sasuke, Kakashi said, I have a theory but I need the truth from you. Naruto closed his eyes, he felt exhausted. He was done with Konoha and it was in Konoha he found himself again. Except the people in front of him were implying there was something wrong with him and his memories. Fine, he'll play along, in the meantime, he would search for his wife's essence. And once he found her, he was going to leave whether they liked it or not. Fine, Naruto said, I'll tell you. To be continued.